Most countries have just one capital, and so does India. Kind of. It's complicated and chaotic. Delhi isn't just a city, it's a region, a puzzle, a battleground of cities within cities that don't always play nice. One's the political capital, another's a tech hub, a third is a corporate beast, and none of them fully agree on who's in charge. Welcome to the National Capital Region. Delhi, Noida, Gurugram, Ghaziabad, to name a few, a sprawling engine of 30 million souls, stitched together by tangled borders, feuding governments, and 1,000 ambitions colliding like particles in a super collider. It's one of the largest urban regions on Earth, bigger than Australia's entire population, but governed like a group project where nobody wants to do the homework. But how did we get here? Why is Delhi the capital in the first place? Because of the Brits. Surprise, surprise. In 1911, the UK decided to move the capital from Calcutta to Delhi, partly for symbolism, partly for geography. Delhi was closer to the heart of India and steeped in imperial history. However, instead of just moving to existing Delhi, the Brits built a whole new city, New Delhi. Wide boulevards, imperial dreams carved in stone, a city not just built, but proclaimed into existence. But they didn't erase what was already there. Right next door was Old Delhi, chaotic, historic, alive, and the two cities grew side by side like mismatched twins. After independence in 1947, New Delhi stayed the capital, but it couldn't handle the growth. The city exploded, refugees arrived, the government expanded, roads jammed. So instead of fixing Delhi, they built around it. Enter the National Capital Region, a megazone formed in the 1980s to spread the load. New cities sprung up, Noida for tech, Gurugram for business, Ghaziabad for housing. Each one got its own rules, leaders, and priorities. The outcome? A sprawling urban soup where powers fractured into 1,000 hands while none of them truly hold the reins. Yet all bound by the same suffocating air, clogged roads, and an ever-worsening storm of disorder. The NCR isn't a city, it's a zone. It's not even located in one state, it's in 4. Delhi, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan. It's like someone just drew a circle around Delhi and said, yeah, all of this, without giving it much more thought. Some of the cities are built by private developers, others by the state. Some are old and congested, others master planned on a spreadsheet. They all feed into the same economy, share the same traffic, compete for the same resources, but they're not managed together. There's no central mayor, no unified transport plan, no single authority that actually runs the show. A patchwork metropolis sewn together with fraying threads of power, no splitting open under the weight of its own ambition. Traffic, a nightmare. Pollution, out of control. Water shortages, constant. Everywhere you look, the examples of cracks in governance stare back. For example, Delhi's levels of pollution are infamous for being a severe health hazard. So to combat this, Delhi banned diesel trucks to fight the smog, but others didn't, so now the trucks just reroute through Noida and Ghaziabad. Metro systems try to stitch everything together, but every city has its own developers, funding, and planning. The layered and scattered governance hinders any development that tries to take place in the NCR. And with NCR's population set to explode by another 10 million people in the next 2 decades, the world's most chaotic capital is only getting bigger. And the stakes? Enormous. NCR pumps out nearly 7% of India's GDP. It's where decisions ripple across 1 billion people, and yet it runs on duct tape, turf wars, and stubbornness. And nowhere shows the madness of the NCR better than Gurugram. A few decades ago, it was just farmland and dusty villages. Today, it's a jungle of glass towers, mega malls, luxury condos. A city that looks like someone dropped a mini Singapore onto the outskirts of Delhi. But here's the twist. Gurugram wasn't really planned. It was sold. Private developers, not government planners, built most of the city. Need a road? A private builder paved it. Need water? Drill your own borewell. Need electricity? Hope your building has a generator. Gurugram became India's poster child for privatized urbanization. Fast, flashy, and fragile. Floods, traffic, power cuts. If something goes wrong, there's no proper central city government to fix it. It's a city that works great until it doesn't. Take flooding, for example. Every year, when the monsoon drums down, half the city melts into our water world. Office workers wading through knee-deep water, cars floating, entire highways disappearing under the flood. Why? Because in the frenzied race skyward, drainage systems were an afterthought, or just skipped entirely. Private developers focused on towers, malls, and golf courses, not on boring things like stormwater management. And since there's no unified city authority, fixing it means a dozen agencies pointing fingers at each other while the rain keeps falling. And flooding is just one example. Traffic, pollution, electricity blackouts, they all get tangled in the same web. Because here's the thing, in the NCR, nobody will claim responsibility. 4 states, 12 major city councils, 8 development authorities, 4 metro systems, 4 pollution boards, 3 police forces, and countless other government agencies. All these entities governing overlapping regions with changing definitions. Responsibility is divided between everyone and no one, and it really makes no sense. You might have a road built by Delhi, patrolled by Haryana police, with streetlights maintained by a private contractor. So when something breaks, good luck finding out who's supposed to fix it. And because no one wants to spend money on fixing someone else's problem, most of the time, nothing happens at all. All the cities have fused into a single chaotic ecosystem, economically, culturally, and logistically. Commuters cross 3 state lines on the way to work. Infrastructure projects get stuck in bureaucratic limbo, and when a crisis hits, no one's quite sure who's supposed supposed to fix it? Well, there's the NCR Planning Board, an authority created in 1985 to oversee the region. But here's the thing, it's not actually in charge of much. It's a referee with no whistle, no rulebook, governing players who'd rather wrestle than play the game. It can create plans, sure, but nothing happens unless the state governments agree. And with 4 different states with their own agendas, getting them to all agree is a battle. So when the NCR Planning Board proposes something ambitious like improving transportation or tackling pollution, it often gets bogged down in bureaucracy, politics, and red tape. The states argue over funding, priorities, and what's in it for them. Then add private developers into the mix, and you have a recipe for a perpetual stalemate. No one wants to take responsibility, and nothing gets done. Even a basic necessity like water is not spared from the bureaucratic insanity. A large portion of NCR's water comes through the state of Haryana, and for Haryana, it becomes a tool for political bargaining. Water here isn't a resource, it's a hostage, passed between states like a ransom note written in bureaucraties. Delhi, gasping under its own weight, waits for Haryana to open the taps. A favor, not a guarantee. For example, in 2018, Delhi dragged Haryana to the Supreme Court, accusing them of choking off Delhi's share of the Yamuna River through the Munak Canal. Hospitals reported shortages, neighborhoods lined up with tanker trucks, politicians pointed fingers while the city wilted in the heat. And since water is short, unregulated actors resort to flagrant solutions. Private water tanker operators illegally draw water, draining aquifers and groundwater sources, then sell it for exorbitant prices. So not only are the sources depleting, it also comes with a nasty side product of profiteering and illegal activity. Delhi's water table is falling so fast, experts warn it could run out of groundwater entirely within years. Examples like this are abundant, and it portrays how Delhi's chaos is top-down with scattered governance as the catalyst for it all. The cities are codependent, yet so separated by politics. And the NCR just keeps on growing. The capital creep has towns more than 100 miles away claiming to be a part of Delhi. By 2045, the NCR could have 50 million people, packed into a zone with no single plan, no single leader, and no single way out of the chaos. However, amid all the chaos, Delhi is buzzing with energy, a booming hub in the global system. It's the heart of India's economic revolution, a city where innovation thrives. Sure, it's messy, but there's no denying Delhi's resilience. From ancient monuments to modern cafes, it's a city where history and progress collide, where centuries and seconds exist side by side, and somehow it all works. In the NCR, chaos isn't only a problem, it's a mysteriously symbiotic ecosystem, pulsing with the surprises of anti-fragile advancement every single day. No one's in charge, but maybe that's what makes Delhi so uniquely alive.